Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. I'm going to be honest. Silverlight's tired. Silverlight's broken. Silverlight is fighting a fight that he's been fighting for 5 years now. I'm tired of fighting it any longer. Over the past couple of years, I've engaged with and bested multiple government organizations and multiple banks simply because I know how to negotiate. I know how to read the fine print, point things out, and sometimes complain until someone starts listening. There's a particular government organization that I mention in my book, Family to Services, that has arguably between a 20 and 40% effectiveness rate. In other words, between 20 and 40% of the time, they actually execute the duty that they are supposed to do. But they have broad, sweeping powers. They have the ability to sit back, press a button, and poof, there goes your driver's license. Poof, oh, there goes your ability to leave the country. Poof, your paycheck is garnished. Poof, you're in jail. That's right. They have the ability to do that without due process, with no evidence. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Your old pal Silverlight's been fighting against them for a long, long time. Now, I'm one of the rare examples. I try to keep everything up to date. I try to make everything happen. When they usually ask for money, I have no problem in getting it. But for the past year, the subject that this government organization is supposed to be looking after, well, she's been out of the country for over 15 years. I have no problem paying what I owe, but by the interjurisdictional laws, I don't owe anything. And I've been fighting them since last November very intensely. So much so, I'm dealing directly with the director. Here's a fun thing, and I've brought this to the director's attention. They have the discretion to look at the evidence. And I presented photographic evidence and testimony that the person in question is not in the country and has not been for quite some time. They basically sent me a message back saying, there's nothing they can do. Oh, yes, there is. As I said, I've read their codes, I've read their guidelines, I've read their regulations. The director has the responsibility and the ability to look at a case and say, yeah, there's a problem here, we need to re-examine it. But instead of doing that, looking at the situation and taking everything into account, the director has decided to do the opposite and do nothing. Despite the fact the evidence is there, they're choosing to go back on a communication which I can easily dispute happened. Supposedly they verified that this person lives in the country, in another province, but still lives in the country. And they say they verified this in September, which I find interesting because I have a photograph of said person in September overseas in another country. And I have one from just after New Year's still there. I don't know if you recall this, but we were still locked down at that point. The pandemic was still a thing, so flying around and going places was not that easy. And yeah, you would think when you present such simple evidence, and I could do more, but I don't want to poke the bear too much, if you know what I mean. But when you give such simple evidence as here, this person is taking a picture, supposedly in Nova Scotia, Canada, on January the 2nd, and she's wearing a very nicely tailored dress with a A skirt that's just above the knees, no shawl, nothing like that. And meanwhile, in Nova Scotia, it's minus 10 degrees with snow. This person is posing with flowers. Pretty damning evidence, wouldn't you say? Nope, not according to these people. So they issued the ultimate challenge. They basically said, you better seek legal help. Well, that's the last thing you ever want to do to Silverlight. Silverlight's pretty clever. He reads. Even right now, I'm rereading all the sections of their law because of one minor dispute I have with them. I'll bring that in another time. But they said, nope, they're not going to do anything, and it's up to me to get legal representation. Well, what they don't know is I have the Attorney General on my side. I have 2 of the local political parties on my side. And you know what political parties love? Lawyers. So, all right, I did my best. I tried everything. I said, please consider your decision. No, please let me appeal, which is my right. I can appeal any decision. No, we've done all we can for you. Time for you to get legal advice. Okay. Now, some people don't look like lawyers, but I look at it as bringing in a mercenary. They're loyal to whoever pays them, and they can only get paid by one person at a time. So if I pay them money, they're going to do what I want them to. Basically, all I want is for them to make those naughty people in government go away. So I'm going to have to pay a little more because I want a lawyer or a mercenary with a name recognition. Think about it. If you hire Jan's Marauders, no one's going to notice anything. It's like, who? But if you hire the Gurkhas, yeah, someone's going to be paying attention to what's the Gurkhas. For those of you that don't know, the Gurkhas are one of the most elite military units in the entire world, if not the very best. And they are a mercenary unit, although they've been in the employ of England for the past few hundred years. But that's really what the game of lawyerism is about. I've pointed out the flaws in their laws, in their regulations. I've broken down everything that they have done wrong. They're not going to listen to me because ultimately I don't have that barrister or solicitor in my titles. I might change that in the near future because I wind up dealing with government agencies so often. It would be nice to have a little something after my name to make them pay attention. But that's the problem with government agencies. I've had no problem dealing with the CRA, which is our version of the IRS. You kidding? Never found a bunch of nicer people. Yes, it's slow to get through to them. It's frustrating to be on hold. But the second you do, I was missing T4s which is, what do you call that? Your income slip from almost 7 years ago. And they had them ready to, was that this one or this one? This one? Okay, that's being sent in the mail to you. And I got it. The people are afraid of the CRA, IRS. But as long as you're dealing with them face to face, I mean, I would not want to go against them in an audit. And I am facing against them with one audit. And they have every right to question the audit that they're doing. And I'm having trouble finding the paperwork. I'll send the paperwork in. Audit will be done. Bob's your uncle. See, I completely understand that situation. It's a paperwork issue. And technically the onus is on me. But whereas this other unnamed agency that we will not discuss who they are, but you can read about them in my book, Family to Services, which will be listed for you to buy down below, both as an ebook and as a real book. You'll see how pathetically incompetent they are, and it's willful negligence. Like I said, this person, well, these people, they just flip some buttons. Click, 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 here you go. You no longer have a license. And they don't have any real accountability. Believe me, I've talked to the ombudsman. I've talked to the politicians. I've went so far as to write a darn book. How far do you have to annoy somebody that they write a book to detail how pathetic you are. Now, this is more than just an advertisement for my book. This is a little bit of soul searching on my part because I am pretty run down. Because whenever you deal with somebody, it's like talking to a brick wall. You say, okay, here's new evidence. Nope, here's new evidence. Nope, here's new evidence. Nope. Go talk to somebody else. Okay. And I'm not the only one. I never got an exact number because family responsibility guards its information worse than the CIA or the FBI. Just to get an idea of the cases, they wanted me to file a Freedom of Information request. What? I wasn't asking for specifics. I was asking for the most generic information possible. What's your percentage of success and how many cases do you handle? If they had given me the information, I probably wouldn't have written the book. But since they wanted to charge me for a FOIA request, I got mad. And then I got smart. I was able to find the information because, well, first of all, the government does a census every couple of years. Secondly, there's all sorts of organizations that record these complaints, and the government is auditing them all the time. A lot of the money that Family Services takes in goes to fight legal cases because of their incompetence. And that's something I did include in the book because it was a little beyond the scope of what I wanted to focus on, and I didn't really have the whole picture of it at the time. But the truth is, the agency we are discussing is marginally effective at best, practically ineffective. If you were at work and your boss saw that you were successful between 20 and 40% on the time, depending on which statistic I admit, would you still have a job? But this is considered acceptable for particular government agencies. It's unfair. And it's unfair to both sides. Both the payor and the payee are equally affected by this. It's not often you see a government institution that's unfair to both sides. That would be like the police being unfair to both the plaintiffs and the defendants. I guess that would be the law. Well, I don't know how to do that for the police, but I want to make that difference. Basically, they beat up the person breaking into your home, and then they beat you up too. That's basically what this agency does, and it's reprehensible. It's beyond disgusting. If you want to read more in detail, there will be a link in the description as always. And note one thing. Silverlight feels pretty annoyed at the moment. He's a little bit beaten up. He wants this to end. But Silverlight does not give up. Silverlight looks at this and says, okay, you want to throw down? I got more troops to commit. We're going to make this happen. So, if you'd like to read more about this, please click on the link in the description. It would be helpful if you would like and share this video, and we hope you have a fantastic day.